1, 2, 3. All right. Hello, it's me, Toby. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful winter break. I know I am. So hopefully you're ready to study a little bit more for the SAT. We're going to take a look at the math section today, specifically questions 11 through 20. So these are the harder questions in section 3, math with no calculator. It includes the open-ended section. So here I have up practice test 7. We're going to start at question 11. Question 11 reads, the expression x to the negative 2, y to the 1/2 divided by x to the 1/3 times y to the negative 1, where x is greater than 1 and y is greater than 1, is equivalent to which of the following? All right, so to solve this question effectively, you need to be familiar with exponents. So here I have written out some of the exponential rules. If you don't know these, you should definitely pause the video and write these down. Let's go through these one by one. So for the first rule, if you're multiplying exponents together with the same base, so here the base is x, you add the numbers in the exponent together. So x squared times x to the 3rd is equal to x to the 2 plus 3, which is x to the 5. And that makes sense. So if you break these down, what is x squared? X times x. What is x to the 3rd? X times x times x. If you multiply those together, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's total. All right, and dividing exponents, so here we have x to the 4th divided by x squared. That's x to the 4 minus 2, or x squared. And this one hopefully also makes sense. So x to the 4th is 4 x's, x squared is 2 x's. You cancel out 2, 2 is left over. And then over here it starts getting a little bit more wonky. I won't go into detail with these right now. All you need to know is that a negative exponent means you take it from the numerator to the denominator, or from the denominator to the numerator. So the example here is x to the negative 2 is equal to 1 over x squared. And then x to the 0, anything to the 0 except for 0. So x to the 0, y to the 0, pi to the 0, 17 to the 0 is always equal to 1. The only one that's an issue is 0 to the 0. 0 to the 0 is undefined. And then here, this one's particularly relevant to the question 11. X to the 1/2 power is equal to the square root of x. X to the 1/3 power is equal to the cube root of x. So you can imagine x to the 1/4 is the 4th root. X to the 1/5 would be the 5th root. And then last one, an exponent to an exponent. Here you multiply the numbers in the exponent. X squared to the 3rd is x to the 6th, because 2 times 3 is 6. And this one also makes sense. So x squared to the 3rd, so that's the same as x squared 3 times, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get x to the 6th. Okay, so let's take a look at this question again. So we have x to the negative 2, y to the 1/2 over x to the 1/3 times y to the negative 1. Okay, so let's start with these here. So we're going to use rule number 5. This would be root y. This is cube root x. And then let's think about these now. Since this one's negative, we just need to move it to the numerator. So the one in the denominator goes to the numerator. The one in the numerator goes down to the denominator. And then hopefully you can tell here that this is exactly equal to d. Not too bad, as long as you know your exponential rules. All right. Yeah, I'll try to move a little bit slower today, because I know some of these questions can be pretty hard. Okay. Number 12. The function f is defined by f of x is equal to, in parentheses, x plus 3, close parentheses, times, and in parentheses, x plus 1, close parentheses. The graph of f in the xy plane is a parabola. Which of the following intervals contains the x-coordinate of the vertex of the graph of x? Okay, so hopefully you guys are pretty familiar with parabolas. Parabolas look like this. The vertex is the little tip here. Let's think about this particular parabola. So here It's in the factored form, so hopefully you guys are familiar and learned this in math class. This function is equal to 0 when x is equal to -3 and x is equal to -1. You can tell if you plug in -3 here, you get 0 here. 0 times -2 is 0. If you plug in -1, you get 0 here. 0 times 2 is also 0. What does that mean? So in the graph, that means if this is the xy coordinate system, the zeros, the point where the function, the parabola, intersects the x-axis is at -1 and -3. Therefore, actually, the vertex is exactly at x equals -2, right in between the two zeros. So where does that fall? -2 is in between -3 and 1. Okay, that one wasn't too bad. All right, yeah, so 13, 14, and 15 tend to be some of the harder questions in the test. So I actually highly recommend saving your time for the open-ended section. I know the open-ended section can be kind of intimidating, but I promise you, yeah, like 16, 17, and 18 are going to be way easier than 13, 14, and 15 in almost all exams. Yeah, so what you need to watch out for is not to spend too much time on 13, 14, and 15 so that you don't have enough time to take a look at the open-ended section. You definitely want to finish the test. Okay, let's take a look at 13. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to x squared minus 2x minus 5 divided by x minus 3? And we have 4 choices here. I'll give you a little hint. So a really easy way to try these types of problems if you're not feeling confident in your algebra or if you're running out of time is to go ahead and just plug in 0 for x. So what happens if you plug in 0 for x in this expression here? You get 0 minus 5 divided by 0 minus 3. That's equal to 5/3. So if the one of these 4 that is equivalent to this one up here should also equal 5/3 if we plug in 0 for x. So let's go ahead and try that. So here we get 0 minus 5, and then we get a plus 20 over 3. What's that? Okay, so that is actually 5/3. So we have a minus minus here to get a plus, and then if we convert -5 into a fraction over 3, that's -15 over 3 plus 20 over 3 equals 5/3. So I really think A is the correct answer, and we can verify that if the other 3 choices do not equal 5/3 if we plug in 0. So here we would have a 0 minus 5 again, but this time we have plus 10/3. So this would be equal to -5/3. Close, but not quite. So this one we would have 1 plus 8/3. So this would be equal to 12/3. Nope. This one would be 1 plus 2/3. Oh, this one is actually also equal to 5/3. What to do? Let's go ahead and also try plugging in 1. So if we plug in 1 at the top, we would get 1 minus 2 minus 5 divided by 1 minus 3. That is -6 over -2 or +3. So we need to check. We're down to A or D. If we plug in 1, which one of these gives us 3? So here we have 1 minus 5 minus 20 over 1 minus 3. That's -4 minus 20 over -2. -4 plus 10, which is equal to 6. So D is probably the correct answer. Let's double check. 1 plus 1 minus 2 over 1 minus 3. That's equal to 2 minus 2 over -2. That is, yes, 3. So D is the correct answer. Let's go ahead and try this one algebraically. So this one is polynomial division. So we were able to get D, the correct answer, by guessing and checking with setting x to 0 and then setting x to 1. But let's go ahead and try the polynomial division as well. Polynomial division is pretty close to regular division, so here I would think about what times x is x squared, that's x. Multiply x by x minus 3 to get x squared minus 3x. Do the subtraction to get x. Bring down the minus 5. What times x equals x? That's 1. 1 times x minus 3. Subtract that. This is 0, and then we'll get a negative 2. So this is the remainder, and then the remainder we need to divide by the divisor. And then this is exactly choice D here. Yeah, so polynomial division, if you're handy with polynomial division, it can actually be faster than plugging in the numbers. But if you're not super confident with polynomial division, you can always try plugging in 0 or 1 to see which one of these answers matches up with the original expression. Not too bad, pretty hard. I think it's going to get harder. Let's take a look at 14. A shipping service restricts the dimensions of the boxes it will ship for a certain type of service. The restriction states that for boxes shaped like rectangular prisms is a fancy word for a box, the sum of the perimeter of the base of the box and the height of the box cannot exceed 130 inches. Okay, so the perimeter of the base plus the height has to be less than or equal to 130 inches. Okay. So here they're telling us the height is 60, and then the length is 2.5 times the width. And then they want us to use x for width. Okay, so the goal here will be to take this inequality and replace all of these letters, p and h, with either a number or x. Okay, so we can right away replace 60 with x, or sorry, replace h with 60. And then now we need to think about the perimeter. So the perimeter of a rectangle is 2L plus 2 width, but here we're going to call that x. And we know that L is 2.5 times the width, so equals 2 times 2.5x plus 2x. This simplifies to 5x plus 2x, or 7x. So we can replace the p here with 7x. And then we can simplify that by subtracting 60 on both sides to get 7x is less than or equal to 70. Divide both sides by 7 to get x is less than or equal to 10. So here A makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so x definitely needs to be greater than 0. So if the width of a box is 0, that's not a box, that's nothing. If the width of the box is negative, I have no idea what that means. I've never seen a box with a negative width, right? Okay, 15. We have the expression 1/3 x squared minus 2 can be rewritten as 1/3 k or x minus k times x plus k, where k is a positive constant. What is the value of k? Okie dokie. So let's do some factoring. So we have 1/3 x squared minus 2. We're going to factor out the 1/3 to get x squared minus 6. And then, so this looks like the difference of squares, except 6 is not a square. So it's going to be x plus root 6 times x minus root 6. So here, the answer is root 6. So hopefully you guys know the difference of squares. So if you have like an x squared minus 4, this is definitely equal to x plus 2, x minus 2. But since 6 is not a perfect square, we just have to take root 6. So root 6 times root 6 is definitely 6. And then we have a negative sign here to make it negative. The x's become squared. And the middle terms actually cancel out because we have a minus version and a plus version. And then we took out the 1/3 right at the beginning. 15 is actually not too bad. I like that one. All right. So the open-ended section. Actually, let's take a look at how the open-ended section works. So the open-ended section, you get these little columns of bubbles here. So you can write in the answers at the top, but the Scantron doesn't read those. They only really care about the bubbles here. The other interesting thing to note is that there's no negative bubble. So if you get a negative answer, that means you've done something wrong. You should probably start the question over. And then again, yeah, so if you get a number like 201, you can write it all to the right or all to the left. Either is correct. Yeah, so for decimals, you use a point, and then for fractions, you can use the slash. All right. Yeah, and I think you'll find that they're not too bad. Yeah, so let's take a look at 16. If 2x plus 8 equals 16, what is the value of x plus 4? So this one, I think they want you to divide both sides by 2. So if you divide this by 2, this becomes x plus 4. That side becomes 8. 8 is the correct answer. See, not too bad. 17, looks like we have some geometry here. Let's take a look. In the figure above, MQ and NQ and R, MQ and R intersect at P. NP equals PQ, MP equals PR, okay? What is the measure in degrees of QMR? Okay. Let's see. So we definitely know this angle here. This angle here adds up with 60 to be 180 because this is a straight line, right? So this has to be 120. So how do we solve for this one? So the key to this one is to realize that this is an isosceles triangle. So they've told us that MP is equal to PR, so this side is the same length as this side. That means that this angle is the same as that angle. Let's call that x. So that must mean 120 plus 2x equals 180. So all the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. We know that M and R are the same. So 120 plus x, or 120 plus 2x is equal to 180. We can solve for x now. 180 minus 120 is 60. X is 30. Not too bad. Yeah, and then I definitely recommend drawing on the figures. So you're allowed to draw on the test in the SAT. I think it definitely helps me to do these problems if I'm able to draw directly on the diagrams. Okay, 18. The number of radians in a 720-degree angle can be written as a pi, where a is a constant. What is the value of a? Okay, so what are radians? So radians is a way of measuring degrees. And the key here is that pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. So to convert from 720 degrees to radians, all you need to do is multiply by pi over 180 degrees. What's 72 divided by 18? 4? 4. So this is equal to 4 pi. Yeah, another way to think about it is, so 720 is 2 times all the way around a circle. 1 time around a circle, which is 360, is 2 pi. So 2 times around the circle is definitely 4 pi. They're asking for the value of a. The value of a is 4. Not too bad. Not too bad. Just 2 more questions left. The graph of a line in the xy plane passes through the point 1, 4 and crosses the x-axis at point 20. The line crosses the y-axis at 0, b. What is the value of b? Okay. So I'm going to try to make an equation. I'm going to start by solving for the slope. So that's equal to 4 minus 0 over 1 minus 2. 4 over negative 1 equals negative 4. And then we can use point slope form. Y minus 0 is just y. Negative 4 times x minus 2. So we have an equation for the line, and now we can plug in 0 for x to figure out what is the y-intercept. So I'm getting 8. Not bad. Yes, hopefully you guys are seeing how the open-ended section is quite a bit easier than 13 through 15. Yeah, I definitely know that a lot of kids tend to be intimidated by the open-ended section, but I really think there's no need to be intimidated by this part. I think you guys will do fine. Okay, so number 20. So we have this, and it can be written as ay squared plus b. What is a plus b? Okay, so they want us to simplify this. Let's start by distributing the 10 in the back. Um, 10 times 10 is 100. Negative 110 times 10 is negative 1,100. Okay. So now we combine like terms. That's 200y squared. And then this one becomes 32, 4, 6. And then we add these together to get 6, 6, 3, 2. Good. Yeah, if you like struggled with any of these here, yeah, definitely like go back and look through it again. Yeah, I promised I would go slow, but I still feel like that wasn't quite slow enough. Yeah, let me know if that was too fast. It will definitely be taking a look at all the sections again, just from different tests. I really hope this was helpful. What do I have to say? Yes! I'm actually starting another SAT Zoom course tomorrow, actually, with Varsity Tutors. Yeah, if you're interested in joining, you can call up Varsity Tutors, ask them for Toby Lee, that's my name. Otherwise, I am so happy to have you here on YouTube working through the SAT with me. I really hope you're having a wonderful winter break. I know I am. I just downloaded Final Fantasy VII Remake on my PS5, so excited to play it. And then I just took a hike to Franklin Falls in Washington last week. It was so beautiful. And maybe I'll show you guys some of the pictures and videos I took in the next video. Yeah, I think I'll start the next video with that. Okay. Awesome. Okay. I'll see you guys again. Bye.